Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and it looks like our environmental problems are going to be solved, and I say that sarcastically because the U.S. and China reach a new climate agreement. Okay, so they right here have agreed to new greenhouse gas reduction commitments ahead of the upcoming climate talks. So they're having talks to agree to things about what they're going to agree to in future talks, and how long have we been having these talks and these negotiations and, climate talks and meetings and agreements. Well, it's, I don't know, at least 5 decades now. And what's been done? Nothing. Things keep getting worse and worse. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. The most positive thing from this story is, China's going to reduce their use of CFCs, which is what destroys ozone. Okay. So that's down here a little bit, but, it says, China, the world's largest climate polluter, has agreed in a deal with the United States to reduce warming emissions from the power sector this decade and commit to, for the first time, to curb all greenhouse gases. Okay, well, wow, that's nice. But is our environmental problems only greenhouse gases? No, it's not. How about all the toxins and chemicals and energy we use? How about our disposable society? You know what is nowhere in this talk? Gaining individual cooperation and hemp, right? We could just be talking about utilizing hemp and ending our disposable society. But of course, with climate envoy John Kerry, yeah, they all have these big titles, and his Chinese counterpart, they had these talks before nations meet for the climate talks in Dubai, which begin November 30th. Yeah, right here. Okay. It offers momentum for these negotiations, which hope to bring the world closer to the Paris Climate Agreement goals. Wasn't that in 2016? Like 7 years ago? And of course, we're still nowhere near achieving that because we never will, just like nothing is going to happen here. Okay, so, but China, listen to this, made concessions. China doesn't do that often. And, that right here has inspired hope. The pact could endure. Okay, that's just, but they say that, these two nations, both nations, which together account for nearly 2/5 of the planet heating gases. So, it says here the world's largest two emitters were able to overcome significant differences and work together to, of course, fight climate change. Are we talking about, fighting all of our toxins and chemicals and, waste issues? Nope, just energy. And the thing is that nations don't have to talk with any other nation to actually just go out and do action. Okay? Any nation can just go out and be the leader. Just go out and do it. And since none of them are going to, all they do is just talk to one day, have another talk to agree to things that decades later, they're going to again prove they haven't achieved, just like they haven't done, for years. But, right here, a negotiator, David Sandalo, a former climate negotiator, and the Energy Department official in the Clinton and Obama administrations. So someone who's failed for decades, like John Kerry, like everybody else, is out there leading the effort to continue to fail. Okay. But not to worry, because they're going to begin more substantive dialogue. Okay. That's absolutely ridiculous. But they say that right here, the relationship between the two nations is still challenging. I didn't know that. I thought America bowed to China. Look what's going on in California right now, where they cleaned up San Fran and they had all these Chinese flags, barely an American flag anywhere, when Xi just arrived and cleaned up the city. They don't clean it up for Americans. They don't clean it up just have San Fran be the city that it used to be. No. But when, the head dictator from the world maybe, arrives, that's, who Gavin Newsom bows to. So, they're out there in California right now. But, right here, the UN Climate Change Secretariat, all these big important, titles, said Tuesday the nations are still far off in their goals. Right. And, they say that, emissions will still rise 9% this decade. Okay. And that's 7 years after the Paris Agreement, and we were supposed to be reducing them. So, they said that China, agreed to include non-carbon dioxide greenhouse gases in its climate plan. So, that's good too, because we should just be living responsibly. But, that would include, acting on much, much more than the people that have failed for decades will ever talk about and will allow. But right here, it said that, they vow to set a minimum standard on hydrofluorocarbons. And, this is used in, refrigerant and appliances. Oh, chlorofluorocarbons is CFCs. So, that's what I thought. But, these are not good. CFCs are what, is eating away the chlorine portion. Right here, this is hydro, but chlorofluorocarbons, these break apart when they get, above the ozone layer into, chlorine, fluorine, and carbon when it's a CFC, and then the chlorine eats away the ozone layer. But, both are used as, refrigerants and appliances. And, they say that China is the main country manufacturing products, that use it in sale in the developing world, where purchases of air conditioners are projected to increase. So, okay. So you're right. We're using so many chemicals and everything, and all they're really doing is talking about greenhouse gases. But China, also for the first time vowed to make a meaningful absolute power sector, emissions reduction. Okay. Well, still, it's, when you're reducing from a massive, massive amount, even if you reduce it, you're still a massive, massive amount. So, this is all just, talk. Just like it's all been talk for decades. And, it says here, it is disappointed the two nations said nothing about the need to rapidly transition away from fossil fuels this decade, which will be a central issue at the COP28 summit. We've been having COP summits for how long? Okay. But, rapidly transition away from fossil fuels. Okay. So I'm pretty sure we've been proving lately that we can't just rapidly transition away from fossil fuels. It's not feasible. There's not a clean energy grid that can power the world. And most importantly, as I said, nations don't have to agree with any other nation. If a nation just actually stepped up and led and led with responsible solutions, every other nation would just have to follow. Okay, all of these agreements to agree to talk in the future, to come up with goals they're never going to meet are ridiculous, especially when the solutions the world needs are never at the talks. It's just all the same, have proven themselves to be failures for decades, people that make very good livings and get to travel a lot of places on somebody else's dime and never achieve anything. So stay tuned, people.